the second season of Loki announced just as the first one ended, we got confirmation of it happening right away. And ever since, the fans have been speculating about what is going to happen and came up with all kinds of crazy theories. And despite that, they might actually be true. And with that in mind, don't go anywhere, as we will unveil some of the theories about the second season that might eventually become true. Enjoy. Recap. Just like all of us here, the fans around the globe were thrilled to get the news that a second season is in fact coming, 100%. This also marked the first series from Marvel Studios to get a second season right off the bat. Unlike WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, fans won't have to wait for big screen films to find out what happens next in Loki. Instead, we got the news that Loki will stick to the small screen for all brand new adventures. However, with so many loose ends left in the show's final moments, there are also a lot of questions that have been left unanswered. And the first few Season 2 theories for Loki will cover some of the major plot points, and the most significant ones that are worth revisiting too. Beware, spoilers up ahead from the first season. You've been warned. And with all of that out of the way, we can continue without any interruptions. With the arrival of Jonathan Majors, He Who Remains, Loki finally made good on the MCU's unspoken promise that a future figure will come up in the series that will also be part of the future of the MCU as a whole. A variant of Kang the Conqueror had conquered the timeline and was holding it hostage to a certain single stream of events. This way, he was able to prevent a more bloodthirsty version of himself from running around and doing terrible things. However, Sylvie did not see this whole thing the same way, and as far as she's concerned, this benevolent dictator's act was just as cruel and stifling as any that existed in a universe where free will and free multiverse could exist. So, she decides to kill him, just like that, out of the blue. But reflecting upon these actions, it does seem that this course of action was far away from the best one, because as he died, he told Sylvie, "See you soon." And as Loki discovered back at the TVA, he was not lying about his last few words spoken. After this shift in the timeline, with the version's death, a new version of him started to run the whole thing. And let us tell you, he is not the one who will be hiding behind timekeepers. So, with all of this in mind, and seeing how the Season 1 finale ended, let's see what kind of theories the small minds of ours were able to come up with. Sylvie on the run. In the last moments of the series, we see that the Loki variants are not recognized by the others. So, if there are no Loki variants in the timeline Sylvie ended up in after killing Kang, then what happened to her? After this is the part where all things are getting that much more complicated, or would become, so to say. There is, of course, the distinct possibility that Sylvie has lived out a happy life without any incident in this world of free will. But, to be real with you, Kang is not about letting anyone who murdered him, even a variant of him, living for very long. We mean, who would, right? Because, when you think about it, if she can kill one Kang, why not more? Chances are, Sylvie discovered that life did not go through many changes in the free will multiverse from the one she knew before, and is likely once again on the run from the TVA. The good thing going for her is the experience she gathered in that field. That, and she being the one who caused the appearance of a new timeline, she's the only person who remembers what happened in the first, making her a target who Loki will desperately want to find. The Loki variants.
You said it's a living thing. You said it's a shark. Well, if it lives, it dies.
The first season of Loki proved to be one of the most exciting ones out of all Marvel Disney Plus series, in a sense that there were a lot of unknown variables that came into play, and a whole new world where, to put it simply, everything was unknown. Thus, one of the delights of the first season of the show had to be the meeting of all the different Lokis that the multiverse could spit out, from classic Loki to President Loki. So, whatever happens in Season 2 of the series, fans can be confident in seeing more chaos than ever before, a chaos which could eventually lead to more Lokis. Well, we hope. However, Whether they are variants of the ones we've already seen from another multiverse, the same ones who survived Season 1, or a whole new bunch of Lokis who invade this so far potentially Loki-less landscape, remains to be seen. No matter what the case may be, a group of characters are bound to appear in the second season, whether new or the ones we've already met. Loki in a whole new universe.
It's done, Mobius. We made a terrible mistake.
What's done?
We freed the timeline.
One of the most obvious theories, according to us, that is almost certain to happen, is that Loki now is in a new timeline, which is confirmed by the reaction from his colleagues upon seeing him. Neither Mobius nor Hunter B-15 recognized him, asking him if he was an analyst, after which they called security on him. Clearly, Loki will have to start all over again and befriend Mobius with a second chance for him to make a good impression on Hunter B-15 this time. Just maybe. However, the most interesting thing for the fans was that not only they didn't recognize him as their Loki, just like the start of the first season, but they didn't even recognize him as a Loki variant, which was very strange. Considering that Lokis were the most common variant, this either suggests that they don't know which Loki variant they have hired, or there are no Loki variants in this timeline at all, a question that will probably get answered right from the start of the second season of the show. Renslayer will become Kang's girlfriend. Throughout the whole season, fans have been waiting to see Ravonna Renslayer announce that she is Kang's girlfriend, just like in the comics. But when the series revealed that Kang in this universe is He Who Remains, it started to make sense that Renslayer has not found her man yet. After all, he was the Kang who could be her man, not her actual Kang, if that makes sense to you. Anyway, moving on. On the other hand, with the real Conqueror now at large and in charge, fans are convinced that Renslayer will turn up as the woman of Kang, and the one who falls head over heels for him. And the only question in mind right now is whether she's a different variation from the new timeline, or the one who went looking for Kang from Loki's timeline. Only time will tell, no matter in which time runs at the TVA. If the series is going by the comics, we are bound to see the couple sooner than expected. The multiverse's opening. Although Marvel is not known to reveal more than what they need, we came to learn that Phase 4 will indeed get weird, with all the timelines and multiverses around us. After all, if there are multiple multiverses, then there are numerous versions of the same character, and cameos could get very silly. Moreover, the opening of the multiverse, if that is what happened in the first season of Loki, affects certain characters more than others. For example, Thor might not notice if there are several of him staring back in the mirror, but there are also more multiverse-sensitive characters, like Wanda, who is a living, breathing Nexus being, and the one who would undoubtedly be affected. For instance, maybe the echoing voices she heard from her children are because Sylvie opened the door between universes. Thus, we can safely say that the opening of the multiverse will change many things, for which we'll have to wait and see for ourselves. On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, which of these theories do you think is the closest one to actually happening? And which one would you like to see play out in the second season of Loki? And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.